What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. I have a very cool boot review for you guys today that's going to serve two purposes. One, it's going to give you guys an idea of what the Phantom GT2 Elite looks like in person from the World Cup pack. And the second thing is it's going to provide a base for a boot that I'm going to compare with the Phantom GX, which you guys hopefully have seen the review of already, and give you guys an idea of the upgrades that they've made to the Phantom GX, which I'll release other videos about. So without further ado, let's hop into the unboxing of these World Cup pack colorway from Nike. So this is a bronze box, which I think is a really cool feature of this boot. They come in, and I believe all of the pack comes in this bronze box instead of a silver one like Nike usually has. These are in my usual size 9 US. There you go. It's a UK 8, a Euro 42.5, and a 27 centimeters. So that is the sizing. I went with my usual size 9 US. I know I have actually filmed videos in the 8.5 and the 9. I've tried to break in both. 9 is runs a little bit long, but I wanted to give a side-by-side comparison to the GX, which that video will come out a little bit later once I've broken in and tested and played in these boots. So hopefully give you guys a good idea of some comparison. Let's hop into the unboxing. Boom. Oh, cool. Very fun. All right, so here is the string bag. Very, very simple. It's totally blank on one side. And then on the other side, it's got this topographical type map looking deal with the sort of the emblems there. And then this is, I believe this is the coordinates to Qatar. I might be totally wrong. I'll throw up on screen what those actually mean, but very, very cool. I like the bronze color. It definitely looks a little bit more gold than it does bronze. And here we go. Ooh, okay. Very cool. So I'm a little bit skeptical of this colorway. I didn't think it looked very good in photos, but it actually looks decent in person. I don't think it's the worst colorway in the world. I definitely don't think it compares with a lot of other World Cup colorways that Nike's produced, but I do really like this gold sole plate. I think that's a super cool feature that ombres into more clear. It is kind of fun. It is definitely different. It definitely stands out, and it might be pretty memorable later down the road, especially, in my opinion, the Vapor probably looks the best out of this, or the Tiempo, to be fair. This GT, the design of the GT just doesn't look that great to me just in general as a boot, but I do think they've done an okay job with the design with this color and stuff. Let's take this other boot out really quick, and we'll talk about some tech specs and get into the more nitty-gritty of what this boot is, and then, of course, what the reason I'm doing this review is. Okay, so here is the Phantom GT2. Now, the GT2, as you guys know, I've produced a couple videos on them. I am not a fan of this boot. I really think they screwed up the sizing, and the shape of the boot is all awkward and weird. The heel area is sort of screwed up as well. It felt to me, this is a personal opinion, it felt to me as if they didn't put a whole lot of thought into this boot, especially in the second generation. The second gen GT2 versus GT1, I was like, okay, generative texture, it's kind of nice. It's got a nice like grippy feeling to it. You can really kind of see those grip elements. And in GT1, at least they did us a favor and made all of these grip elements in a certain pattern that was based on supposedly research that they had done based on the areas where you use the ball the most. But with GT2, they got, honestly, it's pretty hilarious how lazy this boot was. They basically went backwards, and all it is, the texturing now is just a bunch of hopefully you can see that pattern here especially. It's just a bunch of chevron studs that are up on the upper, which, to be fair, if that's what you like and all you want is just a little bit of grip texturing on a upper of your football boots, no problem, no hate, no shade, whatever. I just think going backwards felt a little lazy to me. I wore the first generation, and actually, I think my first 1 month review that I ever did on my channel was of the launch colorway, the black and pink version of these. I did like an update video. And that boot, I thought, was better at least the concept of it and the idea behind the marketing made a lot more sense to me. This is just like, it's the same. And again, fair play if that's what you want in a boot. I just think this is kind of lazy. That being said, a couple of things about this boot. It is a full fly knit upper. As you guys probably know already, it's got a off-center lacing system. It's on the lateral side, so it's a little bit off-center. It's got a decent width in this toe box and forefoot area, and then it gets a little bit thinner through the midfoot and the heel. The heel is okay. It's not great. It's okay. There was definitely some issues with slippage in a lot of people who I've talked to in the GT. Some people really love them. Some people are having a ton of issues with that heel area with blisters, especially in the back, kind of right here in these two areas. But that, I don't actually know if that's an issue with the shape of the heel or whether that's an issue with just the way that the heel is constructed or the lack of padding back here. I'm not actually sure. But again, it is what it is. I think it's one of those things that Nike, full disclosure, has completely fixed with the GX. The GX is so much more comfortable in the heel area. This is really rigid and structured, and you can see here, I'm really pushing down. There you go. Really pushing down, and it's got a little bit of give up here, but down there, it's super, super stiff. I mean, it's literally not moving. Whereas on the GX, this entire piece is a little bit softer, which really adds, in my opinion, to the flexibility and the ability for it to mold to the shape of your foot. So you really don't get a lot of that blistering in the heel area. As far as the sole plate goes for the GT2, this is a stud pattern that I think is actually pretty decent. It's really aggressive, and I think they did that on purpose. They wanted this boot to be more of a lateral stability type boot. They marketed it as a boot that you're meant to be able to change directions in really quickly, which I actually think, especially on FG, this stud pattern to me was really aggressive on AG pitches for whatever reason. I don't know whether that's just my own experience with the boots, but the studs here in the heel area are almost as long as a SG stud for some reason. And the shape of the boot with the sole plate was kind of awkward. I spoke to Michael, who actually got the light blue and yellow version of this boot, and he loves them because they're an AG. And I guess the AG stud pattern is a lot more neutral, and it sort of fits most foot types as opposed to this one, which had sort of a weird, awkward shape to it. That being said, if you play on wet or dry or slightly damp grass pitches, this stud pattern actually would be probably pretty great. These studs here, these sort of half conical studs, are basically conical studs that have been split in half and then changed. Hopefully you can see, I hope that comes across. There you go. So especially on this one right here, you can see how it's basically a circular conical stud that's then been shifted, that's been like broken in half and shifted like this. So the studs are rotational, but they've got a little bit of bite on the edges, which is kind of an interesting feature. I don't actually mind this sole plate that much. I think it's really aggressive. And when I was in Australia wearing this, I didn't have any complaints at all because I did think it had enough bite to where if the grass was a little bit of wet, I never had to change into a soft ground variation, which I actually appreciated. That being said, the sole plate is just stupid aggressive for AG pitches, and I don't like that. I want something that's a little bit less aggressive. They also made the studs super long in the heel area, which felt like there wasn't enough. It basically locks your heel in place and didn't give me enough pivot power. Maybe that's just the way that I run and that's just the way that my feet move, but again, just keep in mind that that's kind of the thing. There's not really much else in this boot other than colorway, which I do think is kind of an interesting color, almost like a black purple here in this, like the upper part of the foot and the toe area right there. Hopefully that color comes through. And then you've got like black lining of that purple, the white swoosh, and then this bronze/gold with the hyper pink accents, which is kind of an interesting color. So they are definitely kind of cool. They're not my favorite colorway. I think other Nike colors for the World Cup have been much more iconic in my opinion. That being said, decent decent pair of football boots. I think the Tiempo and the Vapor are far better as far as colorways. The solid gold from the Vapor is dope. I think it actually looks really cool. I've seen a pair in person and they're really cool looking. The Tiempo, class. Like this kind of ombre purple black color with the gold accents and the pink accents. Very, very cool boot as well. These are like third on the list as far as I'm concerned, as far as color. So again, the whole reason why I wanted to do an unboxing is not only to show you and give you features of the GT2, but also to show you the boot that I'm going to be comparing with the Phantom GX. So let's get these boots on feet. I'll tell you guys what the feel and sizing is like. If they've changed anything, I doubt they have, but if they have changed anything, we'll talk about that in the on feet portion of the video. We'll get a good ball feel, and then you guys will see some training sessions in these boots, as well as some play tests, I'm sure, in the course of the next couple months while I work on a comparison video between the GX and the GT2, looking at old generation and of course the new generation. Let's hop into it. All right, fam, here out at the pitch, it is absolutely freezing cold, so I'm gonna try and get these boots on as quickly as possible so I can get my fingers out of the cold. These are the beautiful GT, well, I wouldn't say beautiful, but the GT2 from Nike in this World Cup pack. You guys know that I'm gonna be testing these, I'm gonna be wearing them, I'm gonna be breaking them in as best as I possibly can so that I can compare them as thoroughly. To be fair, I do have a lot of experience with the GT, but I want to get a pair that I can go side by side with the Phantom GX, and then also give you guys an idea. If you are interested in the GT and you think you'd fit in a GT, you could definitely pick these up. I know a lot of people, Michael for instance, who absolutely love these, and they're a great fit for his feet, but I wanted to kind of test them out again in a size 9 US just to get a sense of what they're like, and hopefully sort out kind of what the best mode of what things that Nike has improved on in this generational shift from the GT2 to the GX. So here we go, let's get these on feet. Again, in the really nice colorway, the gold sole plating really does a nice job on the in the sunshine. It really does give a nice look to these boots out in the open and on the grass. I think it actually looks really nice. So let's get these on. I am not wearing grip socks today. I'm wearing my non-grip Zypher socks, which are my favorite non-grip socks. And then I also love the Zypher grip socks as well that I wear all the time. Link will be in the description if you guys want a pair at 10% off. You can use the code. So slipping in these, oh goodness, okay. And the GT just kind of fits awkwardly for me. There's a pretty good amount of space. There you go. So you can see like a pretty, almost a thumb's length of space in the forefoot area. It's not going to prevent me from wearing and using these boots for the comparison, but I just wanted to put that out there so that you guys understand why this boot isn't really my favorite. And it just, there's a lot of like weird extra material kind of on the width, and it just isn't a boot that I like the fit of very much. But for the sake of the video, I am more than happy to get these on feet. So there you go. That's what they look like straight away. They definitely fit a little bit long, but that's okay. All right, and get the second one on as well. And we will pop these on. Kind of difficult to get on if I'm honest. There you go. All right, getting these all laced up. These are much easier to lace up than a lot of other boots just because there's not like a lot of movement in the upper. But yeah, I think these boots just have a little bit more space than I want in most football boots, especially in the toe box area. But there you go. So there is the Phantom GT2 in the low edition from the World Cup colorway. They definitely look much better on feet than I thought they were going to. I still don't think the GT line looks that amazing just in general, but I do think that these look pretty decent, if I'm honest, out of the box. So there you go. So there's the GT2 in a full outfit. I'm wearing my NC kit. So touch on the ball for the GT2 is actually not bad. That's one of the things that I actually really like about the GT2, because it is a full fly knit upper and there's really not very many distractions to it. It does give you a really nice kind of
basic knit feeling football boot on feet. I don't think it's as good as Hypo Knit from New Balance. It's just kind of basic fly knit. It's definitely not anything close to the Ultra series, so the Phantom Ultra Venom or the Fly Knit Ultra. It's not that premium at all. But I do think, you know, again, the GT series is meant to be more of either a striker's boot or something that's a little more kind of all around. It kind of is just like an all around knit boot. And I think these are okay. They definitely are not the best feeling football boots, but I do like the touch on the ball. That's something that it's pretty uncompromised. You have, you know, the decent amount of grip elements, that generative texture from GT that's on the upper, and it really does provide a nice little grip on it as you're dribbling and as you're moving around. So when I'm dribbling and I'm touching the ball in all kind of surface areas, I get the same amount of grip on all those surfaces, which I think is a nice touch. And of course, the generative texture runs all the way. As we saw in the unboxing, it's just a bunch of chevron texturing that's been kind of placed in that upper. So it is a really good, I actually really like the touch on the ball in these. I just think the shape of the boot isn't that great for me. So again, it kind of depends on what you're looking for in a football boot. But for me, these are gonna be pretty good for most foot types. They're gonna be suitable for wide feet. The toe box is a little bit pointy, so just be aware that if you do have kind of wider splayed toes, it might not be the best option for you. But if you are looking for the Phantom GT and you do want something that is just a basic knitted upper, I would definitely recommend trying these out at least and then seeing if they fit you. If you do find that, say, you're a size, you usually have to wear size 9.5, but it's a little bit too long for you, a size 9 in the GT will actually fit you perfect. For those people who are kind of in between sizes, these will be great for you. And I actually appreciate that there is value in Nike doing that. Even though I don't fit in them, I'm okay with that. I'm bummed that they don't run true to size, similar to like the Tiempo and the Vapor run exactly true to size for me. They fit perfectly in a 9 US in both. These ones fit a quarter size long, pretty substantially a quarter size long, similar to those Puma Futures do. And so for me, this isn't as great of a football boot fitting wise than something like the Tiempo or the Vapor from Nike. That being said, if you are somebody who's kind of in between sizes, these will actually be perfect for you. And ideally you can get ones that are good for your feet and that fit you really well. For me, the sole plate is the place where I'm a little bit worried. I might actually play mostly on regular grass. There's a natural grass pitch there and natural grass pitch there that I can train on with these, because these are super sticky in the turf. Like the studs are pretty long, and they definitely are not boots that I would recommend playing on turf. If you can get the AG variation, I would definitely get the AG variation. It's possible that I'll just keep the green ones that I have that are in AG and just use those as well, but I did want to make sort of a FG to FG comparison with the GXs, so we'll see how we go there. But again, GT2, it's a fairly average boot. I think it's probably below average for me as far as what Nike's budget and R&D department can do and what they're capable of. So all of the previous generations of boots before the GT, in my opinion, were higher tech, more comfortable. They ran true to size, and they were just a better fitting football boot in general. And I think for me, I'm just excited that the GT is going away, if I'm honest. I know this is sort of the end of the review, so if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching the whole one. You guys know I've reviewed a lot of GTs, and they never have lived up to the hype for me. They've never been what the Phantom Venom was. They never ever will be close to the Hyper Venom. They'll never be close to Hyper Venom 1. And so for me, it's just a boot that I think if you, again, fit in that kind of quarter size length and they're either a little bit too big or a little bit too small for you boots usually, these might be a great option. So if you guys enjoyed that video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you have any questions about the Phantom GT, or if there's anything that you want me to cover in the comparison video that I do with the GX, let me know down in the comments below. As always, be awesome, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.